East semifinals game 5. They shipped up to Boston, and the Sixers, they went to the hub city and got a dub. How about the Sixers winning 115-103, led for pretty much the last 44 minutes, took the lead with about 7 or 8 minutes left in the first quarter and never looked back, led as many as 21. Joel Embiid looking like the MVP, bad will and all, bad knees, still put up 33. Tyrese Maxey, the former Kentucky Wildcat, the young player, they want him to become part of this big three, and he comes through with 30 points, hit 6 threes. James Harden, the beard, not a big game, but you see the assist there. That's always a good number for the assist leader in the NBA this year. Embiid, Maxey, and Harden combining for 80. Tatum and Brown going for 60, but it was not enough. The C's get beat on the parquet, 115-103. Philly now leading the best of 7 series now, 3 games to 2. Game 6 in Philly Thursday night. Let's go ahead and bring in James Herbert, CBS Sports NBA writer. And James, how about the Sixers? They came out, shot the ball phenomenally, and Joel Embiid looked really good today. Shot the ball very well, hit his 3-pointers. And how about Tyrese Maxey? Here's a guy, they want him to be part of this big three. They want him to sort of step in, you know, James Harden getting up there in age, and he produces for these guys. 30 points, hit 6 threes. How good did Philly look for you tonight? And what did it say about the Sixers going into Boston, winning a game that no one thought that they could win?
Yeah, I mean, Philly was incredible in this game. That was the best they've looked all postseason. Probably one of their best all-around wins of the year. Probably one of the biggest games of Joel Embiid's career, considering the context of this whole thing, considering how, you know, honestly, in game 4, his fourth quarter was kind of ugly, and he kind of needed James Harden to step in and sort of save the day in that game. Otherwise, we might have been talking about how, you know, he got blocked 3 times by Al Horford in the fourth quarter. He was excellent from the opening tip, that you could sort of maybe get a hint it wasn't the Celtics night when Embiid took a 3 on one of the game's first possessions and it hit front rim and then just kind of got a good bounce and went in. But this was an all-around team effort. Maxey was awesome. It's kind of unbelievable when you look back at what the scouting report said about him as a shooter when he came into the NBA. He's just fully a knockdown guy at this point. Tobias Harris did his thing in this game as well. And this was the danger for Boston when you let Philadelphia come in and take game 1 without Embiid in the lineup. This was a danger for Boston when it couldn't close out that game in game 4. Now the Celtics are in a really difficult position, and the Sixers are playing, you know, they have to be extremely confident based off the way they sort of approach this one.
Yeah, no, people talk about Boston like playing with fire. We saw this in the first round against Atlanta, blowing that game 5. They ended up, of course, winning in game 6. You look at Jason Tatum, had 36, but wasn't really efficient. Didn't shoot the ball very well. The C's as a team shot under 40%, and from 3-point range, James, 12 of 38, just 31%. Al Horford, 0 for 7, and at least 6 of those, James, were wide open looks.
Yeah.
How difficult was it for the C's out there shooting on their own parquet?
It was not their night. Al Horford missed every open look he got, and they were virtually all completely unguarded out there on the perimeter. It's wild. It actually made me think back to a really unpleasant experience for James Harden and Daryl Morey and PJ Tucker from a few years ago when they missed all those 3-pointers against the Warriors in game 7, and they were just creating good looks and then bricking them. The Celtics kind of play a similar way, right? Like, it's a lot of just drive and kick, drive and kick, drive and kick. And I think when they watch the tape, they will be happy with a lot of those offensive possessions and the type of threes they generated, but the shots just were not going down. And I think that ends up kind of sapping your energy. That ends up affecting the way that you play defense. And like, this was not just a case of, oh, Boston just had some shots not go in. Like, they were all around outplayed, but the shooting was off. The shooting was in particular off from Al Horford, who earlier this week referred to himself as an elite shooter and sounded really confident talking to reporters about the shot coming around. But this was certainly not how you back up that kind of talk.
Yeah, the old nickname for Al Horford, of course, was Average Al, below average on a Tuesday night in game 5 for the C's. Let's spin this thing forward, James. All right, the Celtics were in this position last year, lost early on against Milwaukee, won a game 6 in Milwaukee on the road. Jason Tatum, of course, the historic performance there at the 46, came back, won a game 7 at home, also game 7 of the Eastern Conference Finals, won down on South Beach. Can the C's get her done on Thursday night in game 6? Who do you like and who do you favor in that game 6 with Philly leading the series 3-2?
They can get it done. And I'll pick Boston based on the talent on the roster, their sort of track record over the course of this season, and the fact that we saw them do, this exact thing last year. But it won't be easy. And I'm thinking back even to that game 5 against the Milwaukee Bucks last year. That was very different. The Celtics were in control for most of that game, and then there was a fourth quarter run by Milwaukee. It became a possession game, and they couldn't quite pull it out. This was a basically wire-to-wire win for the Sixers. Like the Celtics were just flat out dominated on their own home court. They have to kind of look themselves in the mirror. They have to really think about how they want to approach this matchup, where they want their shots to come from, what their plan is on the defensive end, particularly against that Harden Embiid pick and roll that has been really difficult to stop. I think the Sixers, the Celtics basically gave them life early on in this series, and now, they're dealing with a really, really confident opponent. They're dealing with a healthier and better version of Joel Embiid, I think, compared to what he was a week ago. And they're going into an extremely hostile environment in Philadelphia. So, yeah, I think the Celtics can do it. They have the talent to do it. They've shown they can put up a lot of points against this team, but it is going to be the hardest thing that group has done this season.
Can they do it? Yes. Will they do it? We'll all find out Thursday night in Philly. Seas, how about Joel Embiid? 18th 30-point playoff game of his career. That's tied for the second most in the Sixers history, tied with Dr. J. He is CBS Sports NBA writer James Herbert. James, enjoy the rest of the series. Enjoy your night. Really appreciate you, kind sir. Sixers' largest playoff win in Boston, and they won it by 12. Like I said, they were up 21. Garbage time points there with the C's backups. Got it down to 12. And 55 in the divisional finals, game 4. They won by 16 and 82, and the Sixers went on to win that series. They won the conference finals game 7 there by 14. So big win for the Sixers. They have a 3-2 series lead. They'll go back to South Philly, game 6 on Thursday night.